Ever wondered what would happen if the strongest person in the world reincarnated into another? What if he just wanted a peaceful life, but kept getting stronger? Well, today we're diving into I Just Want a Peaceful Life, a story that explores the struggle between wanting a quiet life and constantly being dragged into conflict. Let's see if Angus, the reincarnated hero, can ever truly find peace. Angus is the strongest individual in his past life. After reincarnating into a new world, his only goal is to live peacefully, away from battles and endless conflicts. However, his path is anything but quiet. After awakening a mysterious idol system, Angus finds himself growing stronger, despite his best efforts to avoid conflict. From fighting monsters to getting involved with magical academies and powerful kingdoms, Angus keeps getting pulled into dangerous situations that he would rather avoid. As much as he dreams of peace, his power keeps making him the center of attention. Will he be able to live the peaceful life he desires, or will he be forced to conquer this new world? Angus starts with the desire for peace, a sentiment many can relate to. He's the type of character who claims to want nothing to do with the action. Yet circumstances and his growing strength keep dragging him back into the spotlight. This internal conflict makes him an interesting character. He's not your typical go-after-power MC, but he's still forced to deal with it. He tries to be nonchalant, but his abilities demand respect. While he's likable and has some fun interactions with others, it's clear that his desire for peace is a bit unrealistic in a world where his strength is constantly tested. His journey is both humorous and frustrating, as he can't avoid trouble, no matter how hard he tries. The combat elements are definitely present, despite Angus's reluctance. At the start, you get the sense that he's avoiding the usual heroic combat tropes. But soon enough, he's being dragged into battles because no one else is competent enough to handle the situations. It's a bit of a trope. Powerful guy who doesn't want to fight, but is too strong to avoid it. But it's handled well enough. The story doesn't force constant action just for the sake of it. But when it does come up, Angus usually doesn't have much choice but to step up and fight. That being said, there are moments where his internal conflict, trying to balance his desire for peace with his unavoidable role as a strong combatant, is explored. There's a clear romance brewing with the princess, who seems to be becoming the female lead. Angus is dragged into her world, again, against his will, and ends up teaching her some of his combat skills. While their relationship doesn't feel forced, there's a certain predictability to it. The princess is almost certainly going to become a key figure in his life, both emotionally and plot-wise. However, this is where the story starts to feel a little cliché. The idea that only Angus can teach the princess feels a bit stretched. Why can't anyone else in the kingdom do it? It's moments like this that can pull you out of the immersion and make you question some of the narrative choices. A system in this novel is a bit of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it provides a clear reason for Angus's growth. He keeps getting stronger, even when he doesn't want to. On the other hand, it's a bit of a convenient plot device that forces the character into situations he's trying to avoid. The system itself isn't overly complicated, but adds an interesting layer to the story, especially as Angus's powers keep evolving, even when he's not actively seeking them. The world itself is your typical fantasy setting, with magic academies, noble families, and powerful kingdoms. The magic system is interesting, but not overly complex, and while the world building is solid, it doesn't break new ground. There's enough detail to make the world feel alive and immersive, but it doesn't delve deeply into any one aspect. It's functional, but not revolutionary. That said, the political intrigue and the potential for conflict between kingdoms is a nice touch, especially since it's tied to Angus's desire for peace. One of the issues with I Just Want a Peaceful Life is that the story often feels like it's treading water. Angus's desire for peace is admirable, but the story becomes somewhat repetitive, with him being dragged into situations that conflict with his goal. The plot could have been more focused on the internal struggle of the MC trying to stay out of conflicts, but instead, it often feels like the narrative is pushing him into situations where he has no choice but to engage. This can make the story feel like it's lacking depth at times. Moreover, the romance feels predictable, and the side characters, while likable, don't offer much new or exciting. I Just Want a Peaceful Life is a fun read if you're into reincarnation stories, where the protagonist's journey is driven by his reluctance to embrace his own strength. Angus is a relatable character, and his desire for peace sets him apart from typical power-hungry MCs. The story has a solid pace, though it can be predictable at times, and the romance feels a bit too obvious. If you're looking for a lighthearted, action-packed fantasy with a reluctant hero and some magic, this novel will entertain you. Just don't expect it to reinvent the genre. What are your thoughts on MCs who try to avoid trouble but keep getting dragged into it? Do you enjoy this kind of internal conflict, or would you prefer a more straightforward approach? Let me know your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more reviews on reincarnation and fantasy adventures.